Orange County Fire Rescue.
6600 Sea Harbor Drive.
Okay.
We actually have a trainer in the water with one of our whales. The whale that they're not supposed to be in the water with.
Okay.
In 1965, orca captivity became known to the public when Ted Griffin made history. Griffin was a former aquarium owner and entrepreneur and was the first man to ever swim with a killer whale in public exhibition. He is best known for capturing and performing with Namu, who was the first whale to perform for the public, which struck national phenomena in the late 1960s.
I guess it was bound to happen. There was bound to be a song written about Namu the whale, and a rock and roll song at that.
Take it, Namu.
Although scientists had had many new discoveries on killer whales, their behaviors were still unknown, making Namu's popularity bring not only protest, but more orca shows and captures.
It was a really exciting thing to do, and so everybody wanted to do it. We are only after the little one. I was told because of shipping costs, that's why they only take the little ones. Just like kidnapping a little kid away from her mother. When the whole hunt was over, there were 3 dead whales in the net. And so they had Peter and Brian and I cut the whales open, fill them with rocks, put anchors on their tail, and sink them.
In 1983, a male whale was captured in the North Atlantic. They later named him Tilikum.
An employee is dead after an encounter
at a Canadian park called Sealand of the Pacific.
The victim, Kelty Byrne, was a championship swimmer and a part-time worker at Sealand.
As seen in this home video, rescuers used a huge net to try.
Workers' efforts were hindered by the agitated whales.
Orange County's sheriff deputies have identified the 27-year-old man found dead in a killer whale's tank at SeaWorld.
During Tilikum's 25 years of being the biggest whale in captivity, he took the lives of 3 people, including trainer Don Brancho, changing the public's views of these shows.
The theme park is arguing in court to keep whale trainers in the water, something OSHA says is extremely dangerous.
These are wild animals, and they are unpredictable because we don't speak whale. We don't speak whale, we don't speak tiger, we don't speak monkey.
And tempers flared between the two sides today when OSHA's attorney suggested that SeaWorld only made changes after trainer Don Brancho's death outraged the public.
OSHA doesn't want the trainers going back in the water without a physical barrier between them and the whale.
We're in a bathtub for 25 years. Don't you think you'd get a little irritated, aggravated, maybe a little psychotic?
I always felt they could kill you very quickly and very easily, but I never felt that that was their intention or that that was their will. And it was just a matter of listening to them. And sometimes if you didn't listen to them and they were quite frustrated, they would show you in a very dramatic fashion, and not necessarily in a fashion to be violent or harm you, but just in a fashion to say, hey, you need to listen to me.
SeaWorld gave the performance of a lifetime.
Yes, sir, that's our baby. Whole place jumping, Shamu. She's our baby whale.
Kasaka and Takara were very close. Kasaka was the mother, Takara is the calf. Takara had already been stretchered out of the pool, put on the truck, driven to the airport. Kasaka continued to make vocals that had never been heard before. They brought in the senior research scientists to analyze the vocals. They were long-range vocals. She was trying something that no one had even heard before, looking for Takara. That's heartbreaking. How can anyone look at that and think that that is morally acceptable? It's not. It is not okay. Those are not your whales. You know, you love them and you think, I'm the one that touches them, feeds them, keeps them alive, gives them the care that they need. They're not your whales. They own them.
That the whales are in their family.
They have their pods, but that's just, you know, an artificial assemblage of their collection, however management decides they should mix them, and you know, whichever ones happen to be born or bought and brought in.
Happen as a result of them being thrown in with other whales that they haven't grown up with, that are not part of their culture, is there's hyperaggression, a lot of violence, a lot of killing in captivity that you don't ever see in the wild.
Sheriff's Office today's date is February 24th, 2010. The time is any blood in the water or anything like that?
Well, that's part of it. She was scalped and there was no blood.
Okay.
So pretty much we knew then that the heart wasn't beating.
Once they were able to pull her away, how did he let go of the...
He didn't.
He never let go of the
arm?
The arm.
He swallowed it.
He swallowed it?
This is Don Branch Show. Don is the senior trainer here at Shamu Stadium.
They were gathering all the trainers at the Texas park. He said there's been an accident at the Florida park and a trainer was killed. Hearing that it was Don, I couldn't believe it. I just remember saying to myself, not Don, it can't be Don. He said that, and he still has her. And I just was so disturbed by that and the reality of how powerless we are.
Has a vested interest in spinning these so that the animals continue to appear like cuddly teddy bears that are completely safe. You know, that sells a lot of Shamu dolls, it sells a lot of tickets at the gate, and that's the storyline that they're going to continue to stick with for as long as they can. And became very severe, and in fact, whales have died in captivity because of this aggression. It's normalized to have these intelligent, highly evolved animals in concrete pools.
3 hours now, and he hasn't moved.
Just screams out intelligence, awareness. We took this tremendous brain and we put it in a magnetic resonance imaging scanner. What we found was just astounding. They've got a part of the brain that humans don't have. A part of their brain has extended out right adjacent to their limbic system. The system processes emotions. The safest inference would be these are animals that have highly elaborated emotional lives. It's becoming clear that dolphins and whales have a sense of self, a sense of social bonding that they've taken to another level, much stronger, much more complex than in other mammals, including humans. We look at mass strandings, the fact that they stand by each other. Everything about them is social. Everything.
SeaWorld has provided billions of families across America with shows and wonders of these animals and other marine life. Today, biologists are fighting to move these animals into sea pens. These pens will be used to educate on the actual behaviors and environment of these whales as opposed to the circus acts at SeaWorld.
The orca has died after more than 2 decades at SeaWorld Orlando.
In this half hour, with the death of Tillicum.
SeaWorld is essentially saying, okay, we are going to stop breeding these killer whales in captivity. SeaWorld has been listening and we are changing. Society is changing and we're changing with it. SeaWorld is finding new ways to continue to deliver on our purpose to inspire all our guests to take action to protect wild animals and wild places.
SeaWorld San Diego will bring its theatrical orca show to a close after years of criticism and controversy.
To stop forcing the animals to perform in basically a circus environment.
Multi-billion-dollar corporation that makes its money through the exploitation of orcas.
They're not suitable to have in captivity.
The whales are really bored. You deprive them of all this environmental stimulation.